Games, board games. We might be talking about board games, but we're not gonna shout. Things can be totally wonderful, and things can be brilliant. But sometimes we can realize that not all things can be as good as we meant. And we have to sometimes make do. This is a sad thing, I agree with you. Hypothetical person who just told me that this is sad. You're correct. And also that person who said this is bad, but hey, not everything can be perfect, not everything can be brilliant. And that's what this show is all about. That's what we meant. Board games and not always being brilliant. It's what we're talking about. Board games and not always being brilliant. I'm not going to shout. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it says. 10 a.m. UK time. Busy Beats and Board Game Bladder. 712. Why should we sometimes do things even when they're not brilliant? That's the fundamental question. And yeah, it says at the bottom, I had a lovely game night last night. It was great. It wasn't like quite brilliant. Like there were lots of things that could have gone better. Like I can think about this, but at the same time, you don't want to stress too much. And like I've got a Kickstarter that I need to do, and I want it to launch today because I've got a stream lined up with someone else tonight. It would be good to say, hey, here's the Kickstarter. It's live. Go and back it. But at the same time, it's helpful for me to know how many to print in time for Tabletop Scotland. And I need to get this artwork done by Saturday, finish it all off by Saturday, so that Chris can then scan it in and, put it together to make the game. And then we can get it in time for Tabletop Scotland at the end of the month. Because, it is a very quick turnaround. I wouldn't be able to do that.
It's really quick.
if I wasn't doing like prints on demand. But yeah, it's worth doing these things. And frankly, will the game be brilliant? Like, I hope it will be really good. I hope it will be like have some level of brilliance, but not everything needs to be brilliant. It's like some things are the thing, some things aren't the thing. But yeah, before we go to our regular scheduled stuff, do you have any things that you have an urgent need to say right now?
No, not really. I mean, brilliant is brilliant, but sometimes you can't always get to brilliant. So yeah, absolutely. Anyway, hello everybody. Hi.
That's the thing. And before we started, you kind of said because time and energy, which kind of summarizes the whole thing up.
Yeah, brilliant is great, but things can't be perfect. Well, it kind of depends what you mean by brilliant. Do you mean something that's that's as good as it can be? In which case, then brilliant is always relative. But different people also have different interpretations of brilliant. So hey, brilliant is a difficult term.
Because, it's easy to say nothing can be perfect for a few different reasons. And then that gets you out of the perfectionist mindset. But then you're kind of the brilliantist mindset where you feel like, okay, everything needs to be as good as it can be given the time, given the fact that there is some subjectivity. But even that, like, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to say that it's the best drafting game that's real-time drafting. But then I was thinking, how many real-time drafting games are there, actually? So maybe it will be the best one. I mean, it certainly won't be as good as it can be. There'll be stuff about it, like even about the game, which is the main thing. There'll be stuff about it. But yeah.
Getting people to play it. That's the important thing. Getting people to play it, whether or not it's perfect.
Yeah, it has to be good. It has to be a certain level of good. It has to be great. Well, the game has to be great before I start charging people money for it, for sure. But let's go back and talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other lights. What are your recent highlights, Jess?
I have mainly been doing rulebook editing. So that is, in fact, my entire race. Well, that's my recent events, my highlights, my achievement. All of it has all been rulebook stuff.
Congratulations on everything you've done.
Yeah.
I've not had a proper time to peruse things, but
Mm.
I've seen pictures from you and it looks really cool. It looks like it's coming together and it looks like it's going to be something that you can be proud of. And I hope that you're already proud of yourself, of everything you've managed to do up to this point.
So far. But yeah, rule books need to be clear. And again, they don't need to be the most brilliant rule book. They just need to be clear so people can read the game. Because, of course, different people learn in different ways. So basically, it doesn't necessarily need to be brilliant, but it needs to not have any typos in it. That's very important. No typos in the rule book.
I mean, rule books are kind of, in some sense, the most critical thing. Well, getting people to understand the game, however you do that, whether it's the rule book or the rules video, is super critical. But at the same time, I hope that people understand that we are humans, we are fallible. And if there is something that you're ever uncertain of, then yeah, sure, it might be improved for the second edition if you tell us, but you can reach out to us on email, on Twitter. I'm sure that Jess, how would you like people to get in touch with you?
Twitter is always the best idea.
So Twitter on Quaker Dissent or Dissent Games, and then reach out and say, hey, this bit, I'm not sure, we're in this situation with this and this and this, what happens? And then Jess will, I'm sure, be delighted to know that you're playing the game, to give you an answer. I mean, it might not be that minute. Don't expect to wait for the answer before you carry on playing the game. You'll have to roll the dice or something.
Exactly.
You'll probably get an answer from Jess within like a couple of days. I mean,
most of them are going to be clear anyway. You know, the thing is, this is not a game with a million rules. You know, we're not talking about Arkham Horror here. You know, we're talking about something which is fairly straightforward. And yeah, there might be a few things we're like, oh, right, you know, do I have to do that? Do I have to do that? But it should all be fairly clear. Don't worry about it.
But even within a simple game, like the rules for Bidabel, I had a review which said, it says choose 2 points for each set in your biggest suit and 1 point for each 2 points for each card in your biggest set of suits, 1 point for each card in your second biggest set of suits. And I didn't maybe quite and they said, oh, what happens if we've got multiple of the same size? And yeah, that's on me. And yeah, there's things that are obvious, and I meant to put that in, but now it said it did. It was an online thing, so it said it did anyway. But you know, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. I am sure of it. And you've got other stops and checks. You've got other people looking in. And hello, Timmy. It is, as always, a delight and lovely to see you. And I hope that you're well. And I hope you've had a good day at work. So let's move on to my recent highlights, which is yesterday I went to Loading Bar. And this is a few people playing Drawn Together. Then a bit of a game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. So we had Tim and Dee who were really engrossed in this car versus fish game. And yeah, they were just getting super competitive about it. Then G kind of slaughtered us all at all the speed games. So a game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. A game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different, counting your beetroots. And then a game about which we played multiple times, and G was just winning. And then finally, a game about counting cat shapes and colors that keeps getting trickier. And I finally managed to win that one, probably just because I've played the game a lot more than anyone else. And we played a game about drawing creatures, complementing the drawings and complementing the complements, which is always a feel-good moment. And Dee mentioned
drawings.
Yeah, like Dee mentioned that all the drawings were quite happy, and like G mentioned that we were like had nice prompts, that it's inspired us, because sometimes it's like, are 4 prompts too many? Like if you feel like it's not enough, you can always go with more. But for when I'm putting them down, sometimes like, oh, this is like the 4th. Does that feel? But like people always rise to the occasion, and I think you want to have some sort of challenge to be like, yes, I need to have these things, and once I've done those things, the rest of it kind of draws itself. Like for example, everyone had to draw eyes on stalks. I also had to draw antlers, hats, and huge eyes, and then the fact that the antlers are on the shoulders is because that's the only place that I could have them, because
fit them in.
yeah, and it was just like, yeah, I'll put in 4 hooved legs. And finally played a couple of LDEC games, the older ones, Wibble and Fable. In Fable, we had 5 of us working together, then a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after some experiences. And myself and Lindsay were tied for first with 5 points. It's like we were good listeners. And E came over and we played another game of Drawn Together. Speaking of Drawn Together, I would like to quickly show you the sheets. Love Hearts or Skull?
Love Heart.
Love Hearts, okay. Love Hearts or Skull?
Oh. That's quite a difficult one. I think maybe Love Heart again?
Really? You see a skull there?
No, Love Hearts. I think I'm going Love Hearts.
But you paused a little bit more for this one.
I don't know. It's that big gap in the middle. It almost looks a bit like a mouth, which is a skull thing. But no, I think that's more of a Love Heart.
Okay, interesting. Car or fish?
Now that is actually quite hard. I think I'm going with car because I saw the car end of it first.
Yeah, it's like one side is more fish, one side is more car, I feel. But the car side is kind of higher contrast, the purple versus the red, whereas the yellow on the red, it's like it's
darker, yeah.
But those were the games that we played, and it was a lovely thing. And let's talk about, sometimes it's worth doing things and why good can be brilliant. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but why can good be brilliant? Brilliant thing, what's the little thing which is brilliant? I think that good can be brilliant because it preserves your energy sometimes. Any other addition to that?
We're getting back to the list of priorities, aren't we? Having a priority is good. That's the brilliant thing. It's making sure that you know which things you want to be good and which things you need to be excellent. Because you don't need them all to be excellent. You don't need them all to be perfect. But you do need to work out which of them you need to be just good and just acceptable and just okay.
And in this moment of positivity, can we both agree that it's fundamentally about saving ourselves the resources, which might be time, energy, money, whatever, and
there's so much
that fundamentally having something be good and saying good is good enough, or even sometimes mediocre is good enough, or whatever, allows us to then spend those resources on other things which might work better. And it's kind of really, I guess, it's about the prioritization rather.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I think that it's the main resource that I'm trying to preserve, or the one which I've got the least of to spend. It's probably time. Time is a really important resource for me at the moment, and I'm sort of going through, going, okay, right, what have I got time to do here? Because I've got the energy and I've got the thoughts, but of course I've got more thoughts than I've actually got time to put into practice.
Well, then you get into what's his energy, because, do you need to sleep? Well,
yes, good point. When do you have time to sleep? But yes, absolutely.
Because, just before, on the night of Bez Day, 1st of August, it took me a ridiculous, sad amount of time to write my mailing list and then to get the Growbit story all done and the Bidabel thing all done, and I went to bed after 6, and I had to get up fairly early as well, so I had 2 hours of sleep, which isn't great. And then yesterday I was doing things and drawing things for Best Day, and then I allowed myself I totally forgot, I went to a tasting thing yesterday. That was good. It was about chocolate spreads, and it was a weird one because normally they keep the things secret, but this one they had an advert, a 60-second advert in the middle that said, now you need to progress past this screen for 60 seconds. This product is, and I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to give them free space, but it's that. And then at the end I asked, what was the first one? And he said, oh, that's the whole point of the taste test, that we can't tell you. And I didn't have the energy to kind of challenge it and say, yeah, but in this example, they told us what the second one was before I'd even answered the questions.
Yeah.
So they very much biased me. And
that's very confusing. That does not sound...
Like,
yeah, that just sounds confusing to me.
it seems like they basically wanted to get quotes to say our product is blah, 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 or 90% of people agree that our product is luxurious or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It feels like they wanted to get quotes and do marketing rather than genuinely ask, is it hazelnutty enough? Which I don't think it was at all. And I think it was, frankly, the first one I much preferred, the unidentified one. And if anything, it was like, you know what? Now that I know that one, I will never buy it in the shop again. Yeah, and it's reminded me to... But, yes, I want to do a Kickstarter. I've written the rules. It's been accepted by Kickstarter. It was good enough to be accepted by them, but the Kickstarter page is of the level where it's what would be called a worsty. Like one of these, if it was first created 0 backs, people would be saying, oh, does this person even know how to finish this thing? Yeah. They've not really shown a lot of thought behind it. Well, maybe I've shown a little bit more thought because I've written basically all the rules up, but it feels very lacking. There's not really any quotes. There's no reviews at this point. I've got one video that I will try to get up there. It's like a quick 40-second video of it being played on Friday. So you've got something, and someone actually replied to that on Twitter saying they love the energy. So that makes it good. And once I've got, I even want to say like 4 drawings is probably enough of art, and then I could be like, okay, here's some drawings, and then it's good, and then I can take a few hours off to sleep because I need to do that, and I am still short of sleep, and I think that's fundamentally it. Sorry, I've been speaking for most of these 16 minutes.
That's okay.
Jess, what else is the reason for why else should we sometimes do things even when they're not brilliant other than conserving resources? Is there any other reason?
Because it gets us on to the next thing. Yeah. Because quite often you've got to do something not brilliant in order to get onto something that is actually brilliant. You know, you're always practicing for the next thing. Everything is practice for the next thing. And so
lessons.
Actually, yes, lessons. Learning lessons. And there we go.
Inspiration and the satisfaction of getting stuff done. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Excellent.
Let's get stuff done. Is there anything else we need to say about this topic?
No, let's just go and get it done.
This is going to be a super quick show, and we are going to get stuff done. And even though, like, I know this is a really weird, hyper-energetic show to watch when you're trying to get to sleep, Timmy, but I hope that it's been inspiring, and I hope that it inspires you to get stuff done as well. And at this point, as always, comment, ask questions from like follow. And oh wait, question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. Question of the day. What is your favorite color that is not red or blue or green? I'm going to go with purple.
I am not. I mean, actually, probably my favorite colors in general are those teal turquoisey colors. You know,
that's kind of between blue and green, though.
Yeah, but purple is also between red and blue.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. I was trying to discount our favorite colors. That's what I was basically asking. What's your second favorite color?
I like anything which is in that dark
nature space.
The dark space. I am not that keen on yellow, not that keen on orange. In fact, yellow I don't particularly like at all, you know, but I don't like those sort of, you know, those really bright colors. Bright colors are not for me. Darker colors, dusky colors. A sage green is quite nice, to be honest.
Or a brown, like the brown of your hair.
A good rusty brown. You know, I quite like sort of a reddy rusty brown. That's very nice. I like that. A warm brown. But otherwise, a sort of a dark sea type colours. I love those. Teal is a great colour. Oh, hello.
Hello, other Jess. Hello, Jess, and I hope that you're well. And we are just wrapping up and talking about getting stuff done. And this Jess is still sick, but it's a bit better.
no.
I'm glad that you are better. Yes, other Jess has COVID, sadly.
Oh
But
no!
how is this?
I
How
am
is
okay.
Jess?
Tired, very tired, but generally okay. Deep in rulebook, as I was saying, I am just doing loads and loads of rulebooks. So, what am I up to? I'm up to rulebooks. That's what I'm doing.
I'm up today. I am up to drawing. I am going to make sure that I have time for other stuff. Once the Kickstarter is done, I am going to make time to get out. Right after this, I am going to get out that door and have a walk, and then come back and then do some more drawing. Like just a quick walk, just get my energy up. After I've done some drawing, I'm going to have another quick walk, maybe round a block. I find that a quick walk just round a block, it gives me a spirit, a bit of fresh air on my face. Do you know what I mean? That's good. It's the drawing, the getting the Kickstarter done, then the sleeping, then doing other, whatever. Just staying away from the screen, because at the Kickstarter, I need to do this. No, try to distract myself for a bit, sleep, and then I'll be live streaming tonight, and that'll be it. And tomorrow, more drawing. That's what I'm up to. Is there anything that you want to share? But let's recap and wrap up before we finish up. So basically, we talked about do things. If they're mediocre, that's fine sometimes. You need to think about priorities. You need to preserve our time, our energy, our money sometimes. It's good to facilitate joy, and even if not as many people as you would like come to a games night, or there's some people who can't engage with, that's okay. Like, I facilitated massive fun for quite a few people, and I had that space, and I feel privileged to have been able to do so. Frankly, even touching the life of one person or the evening of one person is massive, let alone the evening of, I'm not going to cut 5, 6. It was of that order, 5 or 6, and that feels really valuable. And as you said, Jess, get the stuff done, feel rewarded, get it done, move on to the next thing, feel happy about it, feel rewarded, and learn. And apparently, you look like you do weights.
It's probably the really thick bra straps. That's what it is. It's the top. But yes, I mean, I'm not very good at weights, but maybe I should do them. And Bez, you are high energy, but then that's okay. High energy is good
because I need to get this stuff done, because I need to get this Kickstarter launched today. Blimmin' Nick. And so, yes, at this point, if you want to check me out, I am Stuffed by Bez in all the places. And I need to go onto YouTube to actually copy a few things. If you want to check out the Kickstarter, which is about to launch in a few hours, then please go and follow it. It's called Selecting 7 Cards, Speedily Searching for Synergies for short. The full title is a game about selecting 7 cards, speedily searching for synergies. And definitely check that out. As for Jessica Metheringham,
come and find me on Twitter. Twitter is generally where I hang out. I am also on Facebook, and there's a Library Labyrinth Facebook group, but Twitter is the place to be, where you will see me putting in some draft things of my rulebook that I'm doing at the moment, including the setup things and whatever. I'm just doing the page of contents at the moment and the introductory stuff. So that's what I'm doing, mainly rulebook. So come see me at Twitter, but you could also go to librarylabyrinth.com.
So, in conclusion, let's go and do stuff.
Yay!
For
rulebook.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Jess and Timmy and everyone else. Lots of love, and bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye. This is the end of the show. Bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, everyone.